So great. Glad we sent her there. That's awesome. Well, all right, coming up next, the mainstream media taking their attacks against President Trump to a new level.
Is this president trying to impersonate Hugo Chavez, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, Vladimir Putin? Because this is exactly the kind of language that leaders use when they are trying to undermine the press.
Our next guest says he's never seen anything like this from the press before.
But first, let's check in with mainstream media continuing its complete meltdown over the left's election losses and President Trump's successes.
Is this president trying to impersonate Hugo Chavez, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, Vladimir Putin? Because this is exactly the kind of language that leaders use when they are trying to undermine the press.
He is going to get somebody killed in the media. Maybe that will stop him.
He just tweets ridiculous things on social media that any other president, if you put that in a statement, people would think the person was losing their mind.
Well, the liberal media going after a Republican president, nothing new, but our next guest tells us why he's never seen anything like this before. Joining us right now is New York Post columnist and Fox News contributor Michael Goodwin. Michael, good morning to you.
Good morning, Steve.
This is different than anything we've ever seen before in American journalism.
Right. Look, it really goes back to the campaign. I mean, you've got liberalism is baked into the journalism cake. You have the mainstream newspapers, the New York Times, the Washington Post, the big ones, never endorse Republicans. The New York Times, for example, has not endorsed a Republican since Dwight Eisenhower. So you have a starting point. But what they've done to Trump takes it to a whole other dimension.
And this came from the top, Dean Bankhead.
Absolutely. The editor of the New York Times basically took away the standards of fairness, say Trump is abnormal, we can't apply our normal standards to him, and everything became an opinion. And of course, all the liberalism came out. It was all pro-Hillary Clinton. And this has continued during his presidency.
I remember when I was in journalism school, I had a professor who said, if you put your opinion in it, that belongs on the op-ed pages.
That's
Otherwise,
right.
It's who, what, where, when, and why.
Yeah.
But you write, actually, it's in the New York Post yesterday. It's a great column, which was a speech you gave on leadership at Hillsdale. If, as a reporter, you hate Donald Trump, ethically, you can't report on him because he hates, you hate that person. Conversely, if you love Hillary Clinton, you can't report on her because you love her. You got a horse in that race.
I mean, that's the old standard. Those are the tests that have made the news media credible in the eyes of Americans for the better part of the last century. But they've all been thrown overboard because the media hated Donald Trump. And I use the word carefully because this is what it is. I mean, you just saw the people from CNN, they detest Donald Trump with every fiber of their being. They should not be commenting on him if that network wants to retain any sense of credibility. It shouldn't be about hatred. It should be about policies. But they don't like him personally. They want to tear him apart personally, and it comes across as bad journalism.
Right. Clearly, those newspapers have made a business decision. We're going to, look, it's good for business if we beat him up. Where do we go, Michael, from here if journalism is going to survive like it used to in the olden days?
Right. Look, I think for now, at least, the trust is broken.
Yeah.
And there's no way to get it back. There's no neutral territory. I think people, readers and viewers, should pick the ones they like and support them. Give subscriptions to publications you like. Give subscriptions as guests, because we've got to level the playing field so that there is at least a sense of fairness in the public discourse. Right now, there isn't. Right now, it's tilted heavily toward Trump, against him. Right. And I think that just people, consumers, have to put their money where their hearts and their minds are.
Great column. All right, Michael Goodwin from the New York Post. Michael, thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve.
All right.